Hello, welcome, come on in. It's time for a spooky episode of Coffee and Crafting with the Cocky Crocheter. And when I say spooky, what I'm really talking about, of course, is Halloween. Now, if you don't know this about me, I love Halloween. It is one of my favorite times of year. There are a couple of reasons for this. One is obviously the festivities. You get to celebrate. It's, the Night of the Dead. It's all like the spooky stuff, but it's also just fun and frolicking with your friends. You go out and you get candy. You have a few drinks and, some snacks and everything like that. You go to all the parties. And really what's fun is that you get to dress up in costumes. So today, one of my things that I want to do is I want to work on a piece of my costume as part of my craft today. So to do that, I have to kind of give you a little background with it. So as you can see here, I've got this little cutie bear. Oh my God, is she not so precious? So this is my amigurumi Jigglypuff. She sits on my desk all the time. Where I got her from is actually, she was handmade by Zach of Crochet Me Zaddy. And he did, just look at that. Just such a cute, wonderful little job. Like, I love this so much. So she's actually one of the inspirations for my costume because this year I'm going to be going as a Pokemon trainer. And if you're familiar with the Pokemon series, then you'll know that trainers a lot of times kind of adopt the persona and the aesthetic of their primary Pokemon type. And so as a Pokemon trainer obsessed with Jigglypuff, I thought, I enjoy all things adorable and cute, and she loves to sing and gets lots of attention for it. And I'm like, you know what? That's gonna be me. I wanna be the center of attention with my costume. So what I decided was, as you can see here, I am currently wearing this crocheted hat that was designed by my friend Andrew of Kaleri Creation / Plant Knit Fitness. You should definitely go check out his YouTube channel and his Instagram. He's great to follow. But he designed these, and I made this in blue, and I love blue. But I figured that a Pokemon trainer who is obsessed with Jigglypuff would want something in pink. So I have here with me my pink yarn, and I'm going to make this same hat as part of my costume, but in pink, and I'm very excited. So you actually get to see me starting a project from scratch. Now I won't be able to finish the whole thing. It's like very involved, like when you get to the bill and like the splitting for the brim and all that stuff. But you'll at least get to see me do the start amount of it, and I'm gonna start working on the hat portion. So without further ado, go ahead and grab your drink, your snack, your project, whether it's Halloween themed or otherwise, and go ahead and get settled in while I get my camera flipped around, and then we're gonna get working together. All right, let's get set up first with our candle, of course. Got a nice special black one that I thought was pretty suitable for a Halloween themed episode. Set that just right there. And then we're going to get a couple of inspirational items. So I've got my scaled down version of a pumpkin here that I'm just gonna set just right there. And then while I know Miss Jigglypuff would love to join, she's just a little too big to fit in the camera. So instead, I pulled out this cute little Pokemon card that I just happened to have of Jigglypuff there. And so we're just gonna leave her right there where she can continue to provide inspiration, also in a scaled down version. And then of course, we must have our coffee. So I picked up this lovely kind of fall pumpkin themed coffee mug from Starbucks and decided to make myself a coffee with some eucalyptus honey and some cream because I've been feeling a little under the weather, and I thought the eucalyptus kind of minty honey would help with that. So now let's go ahead and get our yarn here. Okay, and it starts with, let's get that up a little more, give me some more room. Starts just with a nice magic ring. So if you are a crocheter joining me, I'm sure you may have some patterns that have used magic ring, and there's all kinds of ways that people have worked it. I know for me that this method is just easiest for me, but I know that you'll probably have your own favorite method of how to work the magic ring. So if you feel like sharing that with me, I would love to know. Oh, actually, I need to get a stitch marker real quick. All right, got one right here. Nice little kind of celestial looking one. Very appropriate, I think, for a Halloween. So as I was saying, magic ring is one of those techniques that some people really love, some people really hate, and it's one of those things kind of like you just always feel like you have to look up how to do it, and you're looking up like all these different videos, and everybody kind of has a different way of doing it. And yeah, so some people just will avoid it altogether. But I actually love the magic ring. I used to hate it, but I've grown to be accustomed to it now. So it actually is pretty easy for me to do without having to look up at this point. But another reason I like it is because then you can tighten it as much as you need to get that hole that's in the middle. You can close that up really tightly with a magic ring. And there's not really another method you can do that with. So yeah, I really like it. Plus it's got a great name, that magic ring. It almost sounds very like, you know, a bunch of witches gathered in the woods creating a magic ring, and which is perfect, of course, for Halloween. Ooh. Go. And that first couple of rounds always go so fast. Always having to move that stitch marker so many times. So one of my other favorite reasons that I really like Halloween is because in my mind, it is kind of like the start of fall. Now I know that technically fall starts in September. It's like September 22nd, 23rd. It kind of falls around that time. Fall. But I know that weather-wise, it doesn't really start to cool down until October. And then, especially here in Oklahoma, it doesn't really get cold until much later than that, but it does start to chill down a little bit. And Halloween, being at the end of October, is usually on the cooler side. We've had some warm Halloweens before, but for the most part, Halloween reminds me that I'm like, okay, we are definitely leaving the warmer months and we are now starting those cooler months. And those are my favorite time of the year because it's the perfect time to stay at home and just get really curled up, you know, put on a good show to watch. And then you just craft or read or, you know, do whatever it is that you like to relax. So that's definitely a big reason why Halloween means a lot to me, is because of the whole, reminder that it's the cool season coming up as well. So, I do have a question for you all. Starting pretty early with a question, but I would like to know, what is your favorite time of year and why? What makes it so special? What makes you look forward to it every time it comes around? If you want to let me know, feel free to, leave it in the comments. I love reading those and finding out about, what's going on in your lives. And I know that everybody has a favorite time of year. I don't think I've ever met anybody who's like, yeah, I could give or take it. I don't care if it's summer or winter or fall or whatever. It's like spring, they're all the same to me. Like, no, I feel like I've always met people who are very passionate about why their favorite time of year is the way it is. So get passionate in those comments. Let me know. I really obviously seem to favor fall and winter because of how cool and cozy they can be. But I know not everybody shares that sentiment. There are a lot of people who really love summer or spring. And it also depends on where you are in the world, because I know that for my friends here in the Northern Hemisphere, Halloween falls when it is cool. But, like for Zach, who lives in Australia, when Halloween comes around, it's actually warming up down there. So he doesn't get to have that same feeling about it because they're starting their summer months at that time. So while I associate Halloween with the cooling of the weather, he doesn't have that. So, some of my other friends watching who are down south might have very different feelings. They might think something similar, but in June when it's getting nice and cold down in the Southern Hemisphere. But even my friends in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got all kinds of places that have all kinds of different climates. So I know for me here in Oklahoma, we're in the interior of the continent, and we're kind of right smack dab in the middle of two major weather fronts that happen all the time. So we get a lot of warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, and it comes up from the southeast. And then it collides a lot with the dry, cold air from the Canadian and northern United States Rocky Mountains. And so when those two fronts hit each other over Oklahoma and, our neighboring states, it creates a lot of stormy, tornadic weather, which is why we get dubbed the, phrase Tornado Alley. And while I will say tornadoes are not good, I do not like tornadoes, I do love thunderstorms. I find them to be, it's just so relaxing. I love the sound of the thunder. It's very deep and rumbly. The random flashes of lightning. And I'm like, oh yes, that means there's a little deep thunder that's about to happen. And it's just, so nice. The soothing sound of that rain just coming down outside, and you're all safe and cozy inside, working on your craft. And the reason I'm saying all that is because around fall and spring, those are when it's a transitionary time of year. It's starting to either warm up or cool down. And so those two weather fronts tend to really hit each other a lot because it's not quite decided yet. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it cold? And so we get a lot of storms during those two times of year. And while I do love a good spring storm, my favorite are the fall storms. It's just, there's something about it. It's like rain is supposed to be cooling. And so in my mind, when it's fall, and a storm happens, it's bringing that cool weather in. So, that's just one of my big reasons for why I love this time of year. Time for a little drink break. Oh, that tastes so good. Oh yeah, that eucalyptus honey, so nice. It's not overly minty. It's just slight essence of mint, but it is primarily honey sweet. Up here, but it's definitely feeling good on my throat right now. Which actually makes me think of the fact that during things like fall, unfortunately it does also come with it some increased illnesses. I know, like, people are getting cold and there's like spores and stuff. The rain does kick up a bunch of like the pollen that's in the air, and so it can cause like allergies, sinus drainage, flu, all that stuff. So I know that this is also a time of year when a lot of people are like, I'm not feeling super great. And yeah, so another question that I might have for you is, when you are feeling under the weather, what are some things that you turn to help yourself feel like you're healing or comforting yourself when you're not feeling super great? Do you have a favorite drink you like to prepare, or a food you like to eat? Or is there a particular activity you like to do? Any natural remedies that you use? Or perhaps one that, maybe is special to you because you just remember it from childhood. So like you have special attachment to particular things that you do when you're sick because it just brings you so much comfort. For me, it's definitely a nice warm beverage that just feels really good on my throat and just makes me feel like, this has just got a good healing property to it. And I know it's a little cliche, but that's also why I like soups whenever I'm not feeling well. But specifically, I like creamy soups. I know. You're like, but you're supposed to be drinking brothy soups, like chicken noodle soup or something like that. But I'm like, those are not really my favorite. I really enjoy like a broccoli cheddar soup or like a tomato soup with like a grilled cheese sandwich. That to me, just it's so smooth and velvety, and it just feels really good when I'm swallowing it and I feel that like warm, smooth liquid just going down. And I'm like, oh yeah, that feels so good when my throat's been like hurting and I've been coughing a lot or something like that. And of course, I take medicine in addition to all of these. But yeah, I just, I'm curious to know like what you like to do for that. Another thing I really enjoy, another thing that brings me comfort when I am feeling ill is rubbing Vicks Vapo Rub. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone out there, but rubbing Vicks Vapo Rub all on my chest and my neck and just like breathing it in, and just that sensation of like rubbing it on your skin and it gets all like cool and tingly, and it feels really good, really comforting. I remember when I was growing up, both my mom and my dad were really good about taking care of us when we were sick. And it always felt really good when either one of them would bust out the Vicks Vapo Rub, because you just knew it was like, oh yeah, Okay, this is gonna make me feel so much better. So we would just like lie there in bed, and then they would just like, get out the little canister and scoop up some and then just gently rub it on my chest, and it would make me feel really safe and relaxed and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, this is so good. I love it. Oh. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's actually progressing a lot faster than I was anticipating. I love when projects do that. Oh, yeah. Oh, so tasty. It feels so good. Okay. So, one thing I also want to know about is if you do anything for Halloween, what do you like to do? So I know that there's not like, there are certain set traditions, obviously, like, trick-or-treating, and there's parties and whatnot, but I know not everybody does all of those, and not everybody even celebrates Halloween, which totally okay if you don't. It's not everyone's thing. But if you do celebrate Halloween, what do you like to do? What is kind of like your go-to Halloween traditions that you always make sure you do every year, whether it's on your own, with friends, with family, with your kids, with your pets? And that's one of those things. I'm basically asking for just all kinds of comments today. I'm just feeling really like, I don't know. I really want to just connect with you on this because it's a very exciting time of year for me. I think I did. There we go. And so I just like to know what everybody else is doing at this time also. I know people love talking about things that they're very excited about, that they get passionate about. So I want to just, give you that opportunity to share that with me. Because after all, this is Coffee and Crafting with the Cocky Crocheter, not just the Cocky Crocheter just talks and talks. I mean, obviously, that is what I'm having to do since, we're not able to actually directly respond to each other, but I still want it to be as authentic of a nice friendship experience as possible. Sorry, if I keep pausing, I'm having to count because it's getting to where the increases are more spread out now, so. Oh, well, I am loving how quickly that's working out, but I am starting to lose count, so I'm actually going to go ahead and leave it there for today. I do appreciate you joining me, and I thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure you go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're alerted at the next time that there's another episode of Coffee and Crafting with the Cocky Crocheter. Until then, I hope you have a safe and wonderful day.